Today I'm going to be comparing 5 different mice. So I went to Best Buy and got a few different ones. I am a first-time PC gamer, so I'm not someone who's been playing FPS games for the last, 15 years or whatever. I just picking out all these mice as a first-time gamer, seeing which one I like best, and I want to give you guys my thoughts on which one I like. So the G303, Logitech G303. This is the one I'm probably going to keep because it's the lightest mouse out of all of these. It's the lightest mouse, and it's probably the easiest to click. The buttons are super easy to press. It's got a sturdy scroll wheel, a DPI change button, and two of these side buttons. So pretty simple design. It has a honeycomb light filtering system, which looks really cool. So I'm probably going to keep this because it's the lightest and it's easiest to click. It's very comfy. Just an all-around great mouse. Great mouse. The G502 is probably the most popular mouse on the market next to the Death Adder right now. This is probably the one that gets recommended more than anything else. People love this mouse. It has a thumb rest, which is really comfy. Like, this mouse is super comfy to put your hand on. Most comfy mouse to put your hand on out of all these. A sniper button. When you pulled this in, it slows down your sensitivity, so while you're scoping in, you can have easier accuracy. And it has a DPI change buttons up and down, which is nice. Like these other ones, you press it and it just goes up, up, up. This one you can go up or down, kind of choose. It's nice. The scroll wheel's awesome on this. It's either just a regular scroll, or you can press this in and it'll do a free scrolling. Super awesome. So while it's a comfortable mouse and has a lot of great features, it is really heavy. I believe it's 117 grams, even without the added weights. You can add more weights to it over there. There's a little thing that comes with more weights with the box. The thing about this mouse that making me not want to choose it is because of the weight. My wrist, I have like a newbie wrist, like I haven't been a PC gamer, haven't developed those wrist muscles, so my wrists are a bit weak, and so I used this mouse for a bit and I immediately started getting wrist pain, and it still hasn't gone away. It's been like a few months. So while this mouse is super comfy and has a lot of great features, I would only recommend this mouse if you've been gaming for a while on the PC and your wrist muscles are very strong and sturdy, and you're able to use a heavy mouse and, move it about, and, your wrist is developed enough. You've been strengthening those muscles for years, because this mouse is actually really heavy, and the reason that I've read a lot of pros don't use it. So just keep that in mind. If you're using a mouse only for your FPS games, you probably don't want to get this just because of the weight. But then again, some people like a heavier mouse. Some people, have sturdy wrist muscles and like it and prefer it. So just keep the weight in mind on this. Everything else is super solid. Most comfy mouse to put your hand on. The G403 is the next one. It has the same sensor, really great. One more slot for an added weight. You can make it heavy if you want. 2 side buttons. Scroll wheel is fine. DPI change, just like the 303. Has grips on both sides, which are really nice. Really comfy mouse. The one thing that's making me not want to keep this mouse is that the buttons are not as easy to click as these two. It is, it's a comfy mouse. The buttons just aren't too easy to click. I mean, they're easy, but not as easy as the other ones. Requires a bit more force, so I'm probably not going to keep this one. The G Pro, I used this for a while. 2 side buttons, again, DPI change, decent scroll wheel, great sensor, Very simplistic, minimal design mouse. Very light as well. Again, the thing that's making me not want to keep this is because the buttons are not as easy to press as these two. More specifically, the 303. The G Pro is a great mouse, but again, buttons not as easy to press. They're spring-loaded, I believe. So yeah, probably not going to keep that. The Corsair M65 is probably the other mouse that I was about to keep if the 303 hadn't been as good. This mouse, the buttons are easy to click. It has a sniper button on the side. Has two side buttons, up and down DPI change. Really nice. These are weights right here. You can take these off. The one thing that's making me not want to keep this is that it's a bit heavy. I took off the weights and it was still a lot heavier than the 303 and not as easy to move around. So overall, if you're looking for a good mouse, I would recommend the 303. It's light, it's really easy to move, and the buttons are super easy to click. So the G502 would be good for people who are looking for basically a general use mouse, not specifically FPS. If you're looking for a very specific FPS mouse, get the 303 because it's easier to maneuver around really quickly, which is what you do in FPS games. You know, if you're playing Counter-Strike, playing Battlefield, get the 303 because it's easiest to move around really quickly. What I didn't mention before is that while the M65 and the 502 have dedicated sniper buttons, all of these mice can have sniper buttons added to any of the buttons. What you do is you download the Logitech software, and in the settings, when you're remapping the buttons, you can change one of the buttons to have a DPI shift, and then you set that to whatever sensitivity you want. So when you hold that button down, it'll act like the sniper button. It'll lower the sensitivity to whatever you set it to. So a mouse not having a sniper button on it means nothing, because you can always have one on any of these mice. So the G303 I think is best for FPS. The G502 is probably the best for general use. I mean, if you're not going to be moving the mouse around super quickly, super fluidly, you know, just kind of playing like a casual game, you know, you could use the 502, especially, but again, like, you want to have, you know, experience with PC gaming, have developed wrist muscles from using a mouse for so long, because it's a heavy mouse. You might not notice it at first, but after hours of gaming with this thing, my wrist, like, could feel it, and I really, you know, did not want to go back to a heavy mouse after that. The 403 and the G Pro I wouldn't really recommend, just because the buttons are a bit harder to click than the others. The M65, if you're looking for an FPS specific mouse, I recommended the 303, but the M65 would be the other one you should check out. Like, if you're looking for an FPS specific mouse, go to Best Buy, get the 303 and the M65, and test them both out, because you may prefer the M65 because of the tiny bit of extra weight to it. You know, some people like a little heavier mouse. It's not a lot heavier than the 303, but it's noticeable enough for me. I also noticed that it wasn't as easy to move around the mouse pad as the 303. But again, that's just my experience. Some people say that they don't like the shape of the 303 and it's harder for them to, you know, grab it. To which I would say it's all personal preference, and that's why you should buy both mouse. Return the one that you don't like, because you may like the shape of the 303, you may not. You may like the lightness, you may want the heavier M65, you just gotta use both. So in the end, I would recommend getting the M65 and the 303, and returning the one you don't like for FPS games, and the 502 for general use. The 403 and the G Pro, I would not recommend at all, just because the buttons are a bit harder to click. If you like a mouse with left and mouse buttons that are a bit harder to press, like they're not so light, then I would probably, again, pick up both the 403 and the G Pro and see which one you like best, because they're both fantastic mice. The 403, the only difference is that it has grips on the side, and you can add a weight to it, whereas the G Pro you cannot. It's just like that. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Let me know which mouse out of all these you prefer, because I'm still kind of deciding between a couple of these, but I'm probably going to keep the 303. But let me know which mouse out of all these you like the best, and explain why for everyone else that's making a big commitment and deciding which mouse to keep and use every day. Hey guys, this is Nate. Today I'm going to be comparing 5 different mice. So I went to Best Buy and got a few different ones. I am a first-time PC gamer, so I'm not someone who's been playing FPS games for the last, 15 years or whatever. I just picking out all these mice as a first-time gamer, seeing which one I like best, and I want to give you guys my thoughts on which one I like. So the G303, Logitech G303. This is the one I'm probably going to keep because it's the lightest mouse out of all of these. It's the lightest mouse, and it's probably the easiest to click. The buttons are super easy to press. It's got a sturdy scroll wheel, a DPI change button, and two of these side buttons. So pretty simple design. It has a honeycomb light filtering system, which looks really cool.